videos
Hey,
or
what's up,
those?
bro?
Do you have your camera? I don't have, I'm not taking mine off because it's dark in here anyway.
That's all right. I don't have
Yo,
mine.
I put on a stupid video to have some background noise, but it ended up being too interesting, so I have to turn it off.
What was it?
It was about the Hoover Dam. It's how the Hoover Dam works. It's like so interesting. I'm so mad.
Yeah, that happens to me sometimes. I like to listen to ebooks before bed, and sometimes they're just too good, and I'll end up staying up like 3 hours late.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Yep.
one more thing just before we start. Uh, I just saw my ex at the thing, and
Which
it didn't bother me at all.
which thing?
I went to a park that just opened by my house, Park Lane Park, and yeah, I saw her with her ex, and dude, it didn't bother me even a little bit. I felt like, isn't that so whack?
I think it cut out, but that is awesome.
I
That
was broke
means
up for like, I was like depressed for like actually over a year, literally over a year for her,
yeah,
and I felt nothing. It was like a little bit of happiness that they're like together at a park. Like I saw her daughter, and like I'm fine. I didn't like. I'm not even close to crying. Like I have no. I feel no pain. It's so awesome.
that's great, bro.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Same
So it
thing.
makes me just it makes me confident. Like even if I get my thing is going off. So even if I get attached to somebody, it doesn't mean I'm gonna be like broken up when they're gonzo. You know?
Yeah, like with Emma, the same thing happened to me, but it took more like 6 years. But like just in the last couple months, normally if I think about her being with somebody else, I'm like, I need to fight. But now I thought about it, and I genuinely just had the reaction like, I would be happy for her if she found somebody she liked.
Yeah, right. Like it's so fine. It's so okay. Yeah,
Well,
it's radical acceptance.
since you brought up something random, I'll bring up something random, and then we can start the meeting.
Sure.
You know those toilets they designed like in the last 15 years, the low water flush toilets?
Yeah.
They're so stupid, bro. Like I just used one, and I ended up having to flush it 4 times. So it's like I used the same amount of water.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, sort of.
That is that is random.
Yeah, well, not it's kind of random because, but not really because I told you I was going to the bathroom right before this call, so it has some ground.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's wild. Is it one of those ones two settings, like power setting and low setting?
Yeah, but like even it has like the one drop and then the three drops, but even the three drop one still it's still not doing it.
Mm.
And like maybe it does get the bulk down, but then you'll still have just like little bits and pieces stuck to the bowl that you need to like do a second wash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our next invention is a power washer toilet. It uses only one drop of water. It just spreads it super thin and launches it at supersonic speeds, right parallel to the bowl, so it slices everything off.
What's that physics thing they have, the big circle? It's like a big tunnel that speeds up particles really fast. Particle accelerator.
Yeah, particle accelerator.
We just have
And
a
except it's
particle
one
accelerator
small
inside of the
fluid.
toilet bowl.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like one water molecule that just spins around the bowl like 1,000 times.
We probably don't even need water. We could probably just have like a magnet and a piece of iron and just have it go around and the iron just scrapes up all the crap.
Just air. It's
Just
an air
air.
toilet.
Just blows it.
The bottom is just a drop back.
Wait, that's just what an airplane does,
Yeah,
right? Isn't it just like an air powered toilet?
I thought it was water. Maybe it's air.
Dude, now I'm trying
There's
to
lots
think.
of there's lots of technology here we could use.
Yeah, there's also probably lots of different types of toilets in airplanes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also there's like this other cool thing, and it was like this device where okay, I'm just gonna drop it, dude, because I'm gonna get really off track. My
One question before we start. What's your work schedule like so I know when I can come over sometime?
I work Wednesday through Saturday, and it's 6 p.m. to
Okay.
6 a.m. But Saturday I get off at midnight, but like I pretty much just rest on Saturdays.
Got Tuesday.
So like,
Okay days?
yeah, like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday are best. Monday and Tuesday are better because Sunday is kind of my recovery day.
Right. So probably Tuesday might be good because Monday I'll probably have a class.
Yeah, but this Tuesday I'll be busy. But yeah,
No
in
worries.
general, Tuesdays are my best days.
All right, Tuesday might be the day. Sounds good.
Okay, well, so
Right.
I think we both built.
LLM GP.
Yep. I think we both built the components that we talked about during our last meeting. So I was thinking maybe we can both take like 2 or 3 minutes just to give an overview of the system for the components we built, so we can like mine's pretty straightforward, but I was looking at yours and there were a couple things that I was getting kind of confused about. So I think if we just
Yeah, for
briefly
sure.
walk them over with our own words, it will help cement
Yeah,
them.
do you want to have where like we each present and then ask questions, or do you just want to go to like you can screen share and show me where you have questions?
Um, from I'll just present mine and you can ask questions while I'm doing it. Um,
Sounds good.
would you prefer not to be interrupted while you present yours?
No, I don't care if I'm interrupted. I just wanted to know what you were going for.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
You can go first.
Okay. All right, let me know when you can see my VS Code.
I can see your VS Code.
Okay.
It's in a
So,
weird mode. 1 second, sorry. It's in a weird mode where it's showing my camera and it's like not full screen. Why is it like that? Shown on video participants. Okay, there you go. Got it.
all right, sweet. Okay, so I'll start with the database file to define the chat schema because that's kind of what this whole server is built around. So inside of the database, we have these models, and this is the main model that's defining all of the database entries that the server is basically calling on.
Yeah,
And
I saw that. You had the default timestamp set to date.now. And that's just so that once something goes into the database, it's timestamped then, right?
yep, exactly.
Got you. And ideally, that would be sort of close to when the message was sent, although there could be a delay from when the client initiated it to when it makes it to the server to when it makes it to the database, right? Those could be 3 separate times.
Yeah, it would probably register the time the second the chat reaches the Express server and gets entered into the database. So it would be a slight delay, but I don't think for the prototype it would be anything
Okay.
to worry about.
Uh, Not to distract too much, but this was something that I was dealing with because the React message list wants to have a key, right, for each entry. And so I
Hmm.
decided that time would be a good ID. And so I was timestamping them before I sent them to the server. And so I made a change where, and I documented it, but basically where it takes the time going in and has that be the timestamp, so that it gets has a non-default value, it has the value that I gave it, which is date.now of when the message was created.
Can you explain a little bit more what you mean by React was requiring unique IDs for each message?
Yeah, so like when you have a list of a lot of different components, it needs to have all the items in that list component all have a unique key so that it knows which ones to update and when.
So like
And so it shows you
each chat message would have been its own component as like a chat entry inside of the chat log.
exactly.
Okay,
And so they each need to have a key so it knows which ones are which, basically.
I see.
And so the unique identifier I gave it was I just had time. I tried doing a different ID before, and I tried making up IDs, but I was like, this is so complicated. There's no reason. We already have a time field. Let's just use that. So right when you make a chat, it automatically does date.now and assigns that to the time that I believe is the timestamp property. I think I renamed it. So it's even called timestamp on the client side, and then when it sends it to the server, it sends it into the server also with timestamp.
Okay, but like the when it's being sent to the server with the server isn't reading the front end timestamp. The front end timestamp is more just to order the components on the page. But the second you refresh the page and it repulls the chat log from the server, are all those timestamps just gone?
No, the timestamps are saved when they're sent to the server, and now they're sent even into the database as well. At least on mine.
Huh.
On my dev branch and my PR, I have it where they're saved into the database with the timestamp of when they were actually you hit the enter key. That's when the timestamps are saved and sent in.
Yeah, and you think that's coming from your front end?
Yeah, I made it that way.
Are you sure it's not? Because the way I'll get to that later, but the way the backend is set up is it's it's assigning timestamps on the back end. So
Okay.
if you send a timestamp in to the post request, it won't even read that. It will just
I
ignore it.
added it.
Oh,
I
you
added
added
it.
it to my backend?
Yeah, so because you have chat room ID, username, message. I just added a time field as well.
But I already had a time field.
Okay.
So you went into my code and there was no timestamp inside of the chat message schema, and you added a timestamp.
In the schema, it was there, but not in your handling of the post chat message function.
All right, I'll keep moving and tell me when you get there so I can figure this out.
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
so the handler.
And what branch are you on right now? Just so I know.
This is my LLM implementation
This is LLM
branch.
response.
So it's basically all the changes I've
Yeah,
made so far.
got you. Okay.
Because I accidentally
Yeah,
branched. What was that?
I pulled this into mine, so I have all this code on my machine as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
after we go through this, I'm gonna need your help to do that on mine. But
Yeah, for sure.
so the handler pulls in this model to basically manipulate it, and
Hmm.
the first function connectDB is basically just to connect to the MongoDB with the Mongo URI, and then the get message finds the chat messages in the DB by the chat room ID, sorts it by the timestamp. That way, when the front end receives it, they're already sorted, so you don't have to do like any type of for loop to sort
Yeah.
them. And
For
then
sure.
it was sending other fields from the database that I didn't want to send. So
Right.
I just specified these ones.
Like the underscore V field.
Yeah, and also I think I was trying to remove the ID field too. I don't know what the fuck. Or sorry, I didn't
I
mean
think you
to
should
cuss.
keep that. I think you should keep that field.
Okay.
Yeah, I use that. I use that in my ordering for the keys. It uses timestamp and then as a fallback of ID.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then save new message, you basically send in or it takes a chat message and makes a new one.
Yep.
Sorry, I need coffee.
It's okay. That's where I added time on lines 22 and 23. Right after message, I did comma time.
Okay, yeah. So this might so basically when
And
it's
then
saving a new message, um okay, yeah, so that does work just fine because basically the DB will either if you don't send in a timestamp with your request, then the DB or the server will just assign it on the back end. But if you do
correct.
send it in, then it will just get the front end timestamp, and it will just be even more synced up with by
Yeah.
like a microsecond in the past.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
that's
actually have I have a correction to make on that other screen, line 23. It doesn't say comma time. It says comma timestamp colon time. And actually, oh, dang it. I want to be able to show you. I'll let you do yours first, and I'll show you mine because there's no reason to talk over you. I'll let you see what you did,
okay.
and I'll show you mine. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the handler. It's basically just I mean it's all the functions that directly talk to chat message,
Yep.
and then you go to the controller, and this is like the main. This is basically taking the uh, handler from the database and all the functions and manipulating it for the server. So it's pretty self-explanatory. You can just look at it.
Yep. I've seen this.
So this is to get, and then right here, this is where it kind of gets a little weird. We didn't discuss this, but I just saw
Yeah.
it. So right here, it's pulling the chat log to send to the LLM, and then I added the
Hmm.
LLM response right here, which
Right.
basically sends over to this other controller, which sends in
Yep.
an endpoint to the Grok API with this prompt, your
Hmm. Yeah.
username.
I had an issue getting this to work. Um, I kept getting an unauthorized error, so I was looking up how to implement the Grok API myself. Um, but I was wondering if you go back one with the post message, it seems like the post is it post new message I think that you
This
have.
right in here.
yeah, it seems like the function's getting really big, and I was kind of getting a little bit lost in the sauce on what's happening when,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, 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 yeah. I felt the
Um,
same exact way. It was like this whole
yeah,
thing right here needs to be somewhere else.
yeah, and like we can have some condition, like it basically like when a message is sent to the server, it's going to like handle the message in the database. Then it's going to handle if it goes to the LLM. Then it's going to like step by step. Because I was looking at it and I was like, ugh, and so I just moved away. I didn't look at that very much. I was like, I can't deal with this right now. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, it needs to be like that for sure. I just saw the opportunity to test the functionality
Oh
without
yeah,
having to do all that, so I just threw it
oh
in
for sure.
here, and it actually worked, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
So
but if you couldn't get it to work, I think you need to go to Grok and get your public key. And if you don't want to do that, inside of the KCC Discord, I sent you mine. If you just want to use mine.
okay. Yeah, I got one for myself. It just still was saying unauthorized for some reason. I did get Grok to send me a message through my CLI, which was cool, but I couldn't get it to work in situ. So I might just try yours and see if that works.
Okay. Yeah.
It was asking
It
me to it was asking me to npm install the SDK for Grok, and I was like, I don't think Tabor did that, so I'm
no, I
not sure.
definitely did not. Were you using
Okay.
the front end when you were getting those issues, or were you just communicating to it through like Postman?
No, I was using the front end, using the whole
All right.
thing.
It might be some kind of issue with the React blocking this endpoint because it's not permitted for some reason. That would be my guess.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay, so yeah, so this will send to the LLM, and then it basically returns back the AI call-in with the message that it wants to say to the chat, and then
Yep.
it's basically checking here and if it doesn't want to say anything, it responds back, no response needed. And this code right here it doesn't work. I need to fix it, but if it says no response needed, doesn't save the message. If it says anything else, it saves the message into the chat room with the AI. Basically, just updating the chat log with a new message. So
Yeah.
anytime you post a new message, it's doing two things. It's saving your message, and then it's sending all the chat log to the LLM, getting the response back from that, and it's saving that message after your message.
Got you. Okay.
And then
Cool.
the rest of
I
it is
remember we talked
just,
about I remember we talked about different strategies for it to know when and how to respond. And we were thinking about maybe telling it to respond. So like if a message contains exclamation point chat, then do that. That way it doesn't send it every time. But this works just as fine it's just as easy.
yeah, like you could easily just implement that in, like you are username AI with a need to personality, generate a response, and then you could add in like another function here, like response conditions. And then you could have on the back end like response conditions equal only respond if you're tagged with at in last message, or like literally anything. So then you could just like,
Oh, you're using LLM to process their conditions?
yeah, I'm using the LLM to just, I'm setting all the context for everything into one LLM response. It's like a
Got you.
it's like a
I
workaround
was
system.
yeah, I was thinking like just in code saying if the message that I just got sent, if it contains the string exclamation point chat, then get LLM response. Otherwise, don't get LLM response.
Yeah, you can do that, and that is better for certain cases, but I think with the response conditions being actually considered by the LLM, you can get a lot more advanced and like scan for a character. You can like actually make logical response conditions.
Gotcha.
If you know
Yeah,
what I
for
mean? Like
sure.
only respond if what you're gonna say is gonna make everyone happy or something like just really broad statements.
I see. For sure.
But right,
You're kind of planning for the future.
yeah, but also I'm planning for the future, but I also think that we don't need to make it so advanced for how simple it is too. Like, how do I put this? I simplified it down to be, but it can still be really advanced.
Yeah. I hope it works. Like I don't know if the LLM will understand
Yeah, me
or
too.
will accurately listen to the response conditions. I don't know if it's capable of that yet.
Yeah, we'll have to. That will come in the next couple of weeks as we test. We'll figure all this out and see if this is viable or not. But with like the short I don't know if you saw in KCC, I like uploaded LLM test with the system, and it was working phenomenally.
Pretty great.
Like, did you see those?
I saw one of them. It was a little bit grainy because I was watching on my phone.
Go look at those real quick. Like the three KCC images. It's just three different chat examples using this system, but this is actually what gave me all the motivation to build all this last night after I tested it.
Nice.
You are Bob. Generate a response if needed. Tim, hi. Sarah, hey. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get away from my terrible joke. So it's just giving like, it has no conditions, so it just says whatever it wants. And then the next time I tell it to have a constant need to advertise Nike, but as undercover as possible. And then its response is, why did the chicken cross the road? To train for the marathon, obviously. Got to keep that cardio up. Just do it, you know? It's like
Yeah.
sending in subconscious advertising.
Yeah, that's kind of the original intention.
And then the last one,
Yeah.
maintain peace, mediate, and it literally like tells him, you are wrong. Let's talk about this. So
Yeah.
it works. It works with at least ChatGPT 4.0 with less than 5 messages. I know that much.
Sure.
But I haven't tested
That's pretty
response
cool.
conditions. So
Yeah. That's a research opportunity for us for sure. All right, what else in the code? So we did
yeah.
that. We got
So then all these
roots.
controllers go to the roots, which basically are just setting up the GET and the POST request, and then these roots get forwarded to the server, and the
Yep.
server connects to the DB, gets the roots, and then it sets
Sweet.
them up to listen, and then from there the server is waiting to hear what your front end's doing.
Yep. Pretty rad. That's amazing.
I'm excited
Oh,
to
good.
I'm really excited to
I guess.
like get the chat app open up and just start talking and see if this like see how this works. Because using
Yeah.
Postman, it was just really annoying because I had to like go back and forth between Git and Post. And
Yeah. I was thinking, one thing about the LM that I saw was that I wasn't sure if you have it set up with the in-between handler, that we have some kind of a go-between. So if you want to switch from Grok to something else, if it's a drop-in replacement or if more than one line of code has to change. Because my ideal was that there's one line of code we can change that switches it from Grok to ChatGPT to Gemini to whatever. I wasn't sure if if the
yeah, so
handler sits in between.
there's nothing to sit in between, but that would be good to set up. As of now, the LLM response is it's just there for function, but it's really not modularized at all and like set
Okay.
up with the interfaces. But just so you know, if you go into LLMresponse.js in the controllers,
Yeah.
you can
Hmm.
just change the model to a different name, and it will use a different model. And Grok has like 50 different models you can use.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So you can just switch it to
So
Gemini, anything you want.
yeah, okay. Let me grab that really quick. You said it's in. I'm in. What is this? I mean, oh yeah, controllers, LM response.
It's like line 6.
Yeah, model. Yeah, yeah. You can change it there.
And I
So right
think
now we're using 3.1 8B instance, 8
it's like
billion parameters.
it's like the worst one. I just chose the worst
Yeah,
one,
it's only 8 billion parameters. Yeah.
but it still works.
No, it still works. Pretty good.
And we get like
Temperature,
500 an
volume, max.
hour and like 5,000 a day for free.
Yeah. That's how many tokens?
That's how many requests we get,
I see. Gotcha.
or like something around there. So
Yeah,
we basically can use it for like 15 to 20 minutes.
gotcha. Yeah, and that's one thing I was thinking about is the limits. Because if we send in every single reply
Yeah.
and then have AI determining whether or not it's going to respond, that still counts as a response. But if we can on the server side say, that was just them saying lol, there's no need for the chat to respond right now, we can save one of those requests,
Yeah, like some
right?
guy just sits in the chat and just spams freaking periods and enter period enter, and there's like 1,000 new messages, and the LLM just spends like $500.
And that runs out, yeah. And so the idea is like if you can either create a whole system that prevents that behavior, or we can just say, um, like for me, honestly, deciding when to ask the LLM what to say back, that seems like a hard problem to me. It seems complicated and not like there's not a simple answer to me. For you, the simple answer seems like send it all to the AI all the time, and then it will decide when to respond, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about
And
this for a while last night, and it's a really tough situation, and ultimately I just figured to myself I hope that this technology gets better so we can do that and not have to worry about wasting electricity.
Yeah, because there's API limits and stuff. For now, I'm okay trying either way because we're such small scale. It literally doesn't matter. But it might be a solution we have to look at later to refine some more, right?
I 100% agree.
Yeah, excellent.
I was gonna type. I had like 3 paragraphs typed up about this. I was gonna send to you, but then I saw I already sent you like 5 paragraphs. So I was like, fuck it.
I don't mind. Reading
It's
is
usually just if I send too much at once, people don't actually read it all. It's like it's just a big wall, and then they don't have motivation to like get all the info out of it.
I can honestly say I believe I've read every text you sent me.
Well, that's
I can
heartwarming.
I can honestly say that. Yeah.
A
There's
lot of
been times
people.
when it's been like I see a message, I see it says read more, and I'm like, man. And then I literally say, Sierra, remind me in 2 days to read Tabor's text. And then in 2 days it says read Tabor's text. I say, okay, fine. And then I go back and I read it.
Well, that's good.
And I'm being so for real.
I don't
Because
care
it's
at
like I
all if
still
it takes
care.
a year or 2 years, as long as like people are actually communicating fully and not just like skimming over and giving me some generic response where I feel like I'm talking to a wall. Which kind
Yeah.
of that happens to a
I
lot of
do read
people.
your sometimes I read your responses and still give a brick wall answer because the actual answer I want to give is like too complicated for the moment, or isn't as supportive as I want to be, or isn't whatever.
Yeah, life is tough.
So then I end up just being like, that's pretty cool. And then moving on. And then you're just like, huh.
Well,
You're
it's
talking
to
about
me, it's
detecting
like
despair.
I realize like a lot of it to me is I'm like a kid looking for his dad to be like, good job. So like I don't even think I need
Yeah.
responses. I think it's just like an ego thing, but it still does feel good to have support from people. Like we are animals at the end
No,
of the day.
absolutely. Yeah, it's validation. Knowing that you're not just like talking to the void, but there's someone that's listening and can like reflect back to you what you're saying is like very important.
But it gave me like Steve Jobs. There was like this presentation he was giving, and he was talking about how they built this laser printer, and they had all this new technology inside of the box, and it was like groundbreaking stuff. But no one cared about the technology in the box. All they cared about was that the printer like made letters on the paper like, really fast. So it made me realize
Yeah,
like
right.
I really care and like love the back end and all the tech, but
Hmm.
99.9% of people I talk to will never care about that stuff. And I'm trying to like get recognition for it, but they will
Yeah,
not recognize it ever. Like they will only ever care about the final product and how it works. So like I just had to
yeah,
kind of
right.
realize that and stop
Yeah.
stop trying to reach.
The tech is so like interesting, and I honestly thought your compression was like super cool and super smart. The first thing I was just like, I don't think we're gonna finish this project because I think we're gonna get caught in the weeds. And then you're like, "But the weeds are so beautiful," and I'm like, "The weeds are beautiful, Tabor. We have to finish the project, and then we can start." Like,
Oh,
like
it's a
that's because
good
I'm
doubt,
so
bro.
I'm. It's what?
I said it was a good doubt because we could barely even finish a horse race.
Right. And it's like that was so basic.
Well, that was a long time
Um,
ago too, though. To be fair,
it was a long time ago. And we didn't have ChatGPT to just like poop out whatever we wanted.
and I had like about 5% of the knowledge I have now.
Yeah, it feels like it's growing all the time. I use ChatGPT extensively for what I did this time.
Oh, I could tell.
Uh, oh yeah, no, for sure.
I can
I,
tell
I had
instantly
big,
now if it's ChatGPT or human after using ChatGPT for so long.
yeah.
Mine is
I
all
know one thing.
ChatGPT too.
I know one thing that makes it obvious to me is when there's semicolons at the end.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh,
no, I don't know anyone like when I've ever written JavaScript, I've never used semicolons in my whole life, and so like you can pretty much tell when it's ChatGPT or not because of semicolons. That's my giveaway.
yeah, I use
Uh,
semicolons, but my biggest giveaways are looking at like console logs because like no one's gonna type AI reply with like capitalization and LLM fetch error like all of
yeah,
like
yeah,
the itty gritty stuff. It's just perfect. And then also AI leaves a lot of stupid comments, which
yeah.
people don't delete.
And I end up deleting most comments before I ship. But yeah, that's a good point. Excellent.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
I feel like
gonna.
I feel like I sort of get what's going on. I'll go ahead and share mine. It's gonna look a little bit different than yours, probably.
I only have about like probably 15 more minutes, so I'm not trying
Got
to
you.
rush you. But after you do this, I want to discuss some of the pull requests and then getting all merged.
Yeah, for sure. You can see my screen, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. Sorry, I didn't have my terminal up. Okay. Let me see it. So I'm on my dev branch. So here's the items. I don't know if you can see or if I should make the background more black.
Oh, that's one thing. Before I forget, I wanted to tell you. Would you be all right putting all of your front end inside of a front end folder so we just have a back end and front end on the main directory?
It's all in source right now, but yeah, I can move it to backend. Do you want the components and stuff? Like,
I'm basically saying like your whole entire front end that you built. See how I have all of my stuff in the backend folder?
yes.
Would you be able to put all of your front end inside of a front end folder that's like on the same level as the backend folder?
Yeah, so you're saying from node modules down, just compress this all into front end.
And dot .vite maybe too?
Okay, yeah, .v. Okay. Yeah, I think so. I don't think that'll mess with the pathing too much.
All right, cool. Because I think that would just be better on my end, like
I,
the way that I organize things.
yeah, I have to double check. I think I'll mess anything up. Uh, yeah.
And then you can keep all of your node module stuff in that front end. So then we can go and do the front end back end and then just do npm install and get all the proper nodes for the folder we're in.
Yeah. Oh, not right now, right? Sorry, I was doing it right now. I'll do it later.
That was along with the ride.
Um, what'd you say?
Pe- I said I was along with the ride, but it's funny because like 99% of people watching this video, which is probably like one a hundredth of a person.
Yeah.
Oh, God, my math is so bad right now. All right, they're gonna be
Should I
laughing at you just doing all this in the terminal like it's 2002.
So yeah, these are all just config files. I understand some of them, not all of them. Here's source. Uh, yeah, there's some components that were made.
So
Here's the
like,
message bundle.
can you start at the root component and then just go down like each child there?
Yeah, for sure. So we start at main, goes to app, obviously. Not interesting. Um, yeah, not interesting whatsoever. That goes to app, which is equally uninteresting. Just the chat room. Like literally the most basic thing I could think of.
It's all right. In tree
Normally,
efficiency, I think I just put everything in app.txx,
that's
tsx.
so funny. Here's chat room. It's much bigger. Um, Let me
Okay.
actually get rid of this so you
So
can
this is
see.
like the main parent housing of all the front end that you built.
Yeah, and really I don't want it to be that way. I need to have more stuff in app, like I want borders, I want to have things like that, but the chat room's the main thing, you know?
Yeah.
So you can see there's some comments. We have the current messages that are typed. All these comments I wrote, by the way, so I'm pretty proud of myself.
I think that
Um,
your terminal isn't. Are you scrolling on your terminal?
right now, no.
Oh, it shows the line number that you're on. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty
Oh
cool, right?
wow. Yeah.
And also, if you want to jump down 12, you just type in 12J and you're down 12.
Hmm.
If I want to go to like set messages, you can see it's 8 down. I just hit 8J and it jumps me there. That's just like him. Anyway,
So
current messages being
before you go
typed.
down there real quick, what is the card header, card content stuff? I've never seen that.
Oh yeah, those are all from ShadCN. So ShadCN is like a component library that I brought. I'll show you cards. They're here in the UI. There's card, button, and input. So here's what card looks like. I didn't write any of this. This is all from ShadCN. So I just imported
What is a
this.
card? Like what is it for?
It's the shape on the page. Like it's a place where you can hold content, and it's basically what sits behind the messages.
Actually, that's a good
And
point.
that's
Now that you're saying all this, can you show me the front end visually before I look at the code so I can like see how it all is laid out?
yeah. Give me a second.
I think that would help me understand this better.
Yeah. Let me here. npm run. I had it as concurrent before, but it was actually kind of it was a little bit annoying, so I stopped doing concurrent.
What does that mean?
Running them at the same time, like here, sorry, let me go back really quick.
Oh, like going into the back end and running that server.
Yeah,
That's how I always do it usually. I didn't know there's another way.
No, sorry, I'm like half listening. Because I had to run your backend and the front end at the same time.
Yeah, so you just open up two terminals usually, right? And then just, isn't that like
But
the way that most
but
people do it?
I found a package called concurrently that lets you run both at the same time with one script. So I was
Oh,
messing around with that.
okay. That's cool.
No, it didn't crash before. I'm salty. Why did it change?
It's because my backend isn't being picked up for some reason. Is it still in there?
Yeah, it's still in here. It's did I add? I think I added the yeah, I added type module. That's why. That should do it. Let's see.
I don't even think we need the body parser dependency.
Yeah, we might not. It's taking a while. Let's see.
Moment of truth, baby. What the?
What?
No, I was just playing. It looked like you were loading up your chat app, and then it opened up the default fight thing.
Uh, yeah, no, I gotta see why. Okay, Mongo's connected. It's all good. This should
Okay,
be good.
nice.
I'll probably have to refresh the Vite server. I don't know. Ooh, this hasn't taken this long before. That's how you know you're a real gamer. When your console log is like 3/4 of the screen. There you go.
Wow.
Actually, we'll delete this. Don't worry about it. So here's the messages. So here's different messages. You can see it has the person's name.
What is
Fart
the, is the
quad, custom
system like
messages.
is that a default message, or did you just make a system user and then type that in there?
It's just the default state of messages. It just has that first one in there.
Okay.
And then fart quad you. This Sailor Moon one here that was sent. Actually just went directly into the database itself and just did insert document and just added one like straight in,
Hmm.
and then it showed up as Sailor Moon. So I can say, "What's up, boys?" Shows up. Uh,
How do you
and
change the
there, this
username?
right now I don't have that. That's the next thing I have in my over here. Add username change field is
Oh
the next thing
yeah.
I'm going to work on. But I was getting distracted trying to implement the LLM stuff as well, so I kind of got a little distracted. Now this ghosting thing I actually solved. I don't know why it's showing up again. The ghosting happens because when you hit enter, you send it in right away. Um, but then it goes back and grabs it from the server, and then shows it again because they have like two different things. I fixed this earlier, so I don't know why it's back. Um,
Like so you're saying when you send in a, like if you send in a new message, could you just clear the chat log and then just repull from the server?
I don't. You could do that, but I don't. What I do is I every 5 seconds I grab all the messages from the server. I find the ones that are new, and then I only add those.
Okay. Yeah, that's that little extra implementation you added is probably gonna cause issues that you're gonna have to solve. When you, it might just be better to just repull it from the server after each new message for the prototype to avoid having to like debug all that stuff.
This is actually an issue that I already debugged. I don't know why it's back, so I gotta figure. I think it's when I reset the server or something happens. I'll try it. Sometimes though I don't. If I start the servers like if they're out of sync, that can happen. But I'll check it because I think it's probably better to keep the that's the wrong way.
It's definitely
Uh,
faster, more efficient.
to to just show everything from the server.
Just to only add the ones that are new. It's faster on the front end,
Yeah.
but it adds in the complexity.
Well, the back end does the same thing no matter what. It always sends all the messages, so the server doesn't see anything different. The front end is either just keep because React has a state that it's keeping, so it has the current state. Wiping out the whole state and reloading it versus just doing a sort. And that was one thing I wanted to ask about to see if you knew what was better.
Wait, but then I'm
We talked
wondering,
about
then if it has to go through it anyways to sort it, so then it would still be going through the whole entire array, right?
it's actually just it's just doing a filter command. You'll see in a second.
But like when
So
it
we have
filters, doesn't it still have to compare every message to check what's new and what's not?
not the whole contents of every message. It's just looking at the IDs, which is we'll see. We'll
I
see.
see.
I'm
Okay.
not sure what's faster yet, but we'll check it out.
Okay.
So here we go. We have username, chat room ID. As you can see, I don't have set username defined yet. That's why it's grayed out. I don't have set chat room ID because that's been grayed out. Right now it's just one, and the name is Turkish Films. That's what I'm using.
So the draft is like the message being typed.
Yeah. Let me
Sorry,
see.
it's
I need to
it's a
make
little
this.
cut off. So
Yeah, there you go.
okay, nice. So I like how you use the exact same language. Message being typed.
What
Current
do you mean?
username. And your comment. I was like, so the draft is the message being typed, and then your comment is like the exact same wording.
Current message, yeah. Current username, current chat room ID. The list ref, I thought that'd be kind of confusing language. That's the connection. It's the list reference, so that you can actually use the messages and talk about them in a meaningful way. Otherwise, they're just a DOM element, and React doesn't know what you want. This
Hmm.
is basically a way to grab the contents of them.
Okay.
We have the messages here. The first message is timestamp of 0, system, welcome to the chat, and the chat room ID. Pretty basic. So here's the filtering of getting on duplicates. But basically, I'll show you what it loads. It loads the main div, which is everything. Inside that, it's a big card. Inside that, there's the header, which says chat room. Then there's the content, which has a message list and a message input. Very basic stuff.
Okay.
And if you look at this, you can see there's the big card. There's the card header, chat room. This is the card content. It's this list right here. And here's the message list, and at the bottom is the message input. So pretty basic stuff. Just like 5 components. Let's see. So the only things I do, these two effects that I'm running, this one I'm debating on changing it. This one I had ChatGPT do. This is it always scrolls to the bottom of the message. So when you get a new message, it scrolls to the bottom automatically. That's fine, except for that you can see here it operates whenever messages gets updated. And right now I'm having an issue where even if no new messages come into messages, you're still running the set messages function just with an empty array. So set messages still gets pulled, which means messages gets updated, which means you get stuck to the bottom every 5 seconds, even if there's no messages.
Hmm.
And so this I have to fix because this is driving me crazy.
I have that same
And then this is
exact.
just as I said,
I had like that same exact issue on tree efficiency, and I never fixed it.
yeah, yeah. And so I need to fix this. I'm deciding, um, if I do a check before I run set messages to say if the messages that you're trying to add is not an empty list, then do set messages. Otherwise, you can run it. That will prevent it from using the set messages function, and then it won't trigger this effect.
Hmm.
This is just an interval that fetches messages from server every 5 seconds. Pretty basic. Set messages 5 seconds. This is the kind of thing where it just says use effect, so it doesn't tell you what it is. So I commented it, but I feel like I'm being
No, I know. I
um
understand React enough to see what's going on.
okay. So we have the handle send function. That's when you click the button, obviously. It takes your message and trims it. If it's if it's a message, basically, if it's not nothing, then set the messages. Right? Pretty basic stuff. Timestamp, username, message, chat room ID. Resort the draft to nothing, and send the message to the server.
Nice.
That's pretty basic. Send message to server, it's just a simple post request with username, timestamp, message, chat room ID. Nothing special. And then the only two things, that's send messages. Then we have to fetch messages. We fetch them all. I noticed that when you have them sent from the server, they're actually inside of an element called .chat messages.
Yeah. Would
That's
you
the only
would
thing
you
here that
prefer that just to be just the raw message array?
it literally doesn't matter. This is totally fine. It's like one extra line here, and no one else knows. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna change it.
okay, that's probably better. Now add messages to chat. This is different than the other one because this is when we're getting them from the server. When we get it straight from hit the send button, we don't run add messages to chat. We just straight add it. You can see like in handle send, we do set messages like just directly on line 58, which is a little bit dangerous to me. I feel like I shouldn't just be sending messages directly. Um, but you have to have a difference between that and when server does it. When the server does it, it's add messages, and we take the current messages and we append to those the non-duplicate messages. Here's the non-duplicate messages. We grab all the current IDs, which are basically just the timestamps of the client's messages, and we filter that as long as they're not the same as the current messages. That means those are the new messages, and that is what we send in. Unfortunately, this list from non-duplicate messages is often an empty array. So we're saying return current messages and append to it nothing. But set messages still gets run, so the message array still gets updated, right?
Yeah.
So that's problematic. But that's that. This is chat room JSX. Yeah, pretty basic stuff. The only things I had to change really to get this to work where I had to add a proxy. Where is it? I had to add the proxy 3000 here, and then in vite config I had to add a direct proxy that says, hey, even though the vite server or the React server is running on 5137, whenever you use new message or chat messages, forward to 3K so that I can match with his backend.
Yeah, dude, I spent like 3 days trying to figure out this Vite config for tree efficiency, and
Yeah.
I literally cannot remember what happened, but eventually I just ended up tagging out all of those proxies because it was like I didn't need them, but I couldn't remember why. But
Gotcha.
this looks good.
Yeah, so the back and the front connect now. Um, I don't think there was errors, which is good. There was like there's this ghosting thing that I have to figure out, but I mean, because I already figured it out, and now it's back, and that makes me mad. Oh, there it was. See, internal server error. But then when I come back and I check on the server, it's not an issue with. It's not an issue with it. It's an issue with the. Oh, this is so annoying. 30. Oops. There we go. Why is it bugged? Stop being bugged. Basically, I think this is the same error as before. I'm irritated. Uh, the issue is that it's trying to do the grok thing, because I have it all here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's definitely what it is. Let me see your code real quick for the. Actually, I don't want you
Yeah,
to
the
share
tag.
that. I don't want you to share your NV to this.
Share my what?
I said I didn't want. I don't want you to open up your NV on this video.
Oh, there I did on accident. Whoops. Yeah, I got mad because I was trying to get it to work with just the try grok directly, and then I couldn't get it to grab the environment for using the SDK, and so then I just pasted it directly in, but just wasn't gonna commit it or anything. But yeah, in the yeah, I have it grabbing the grok key that I have, but for some reason it didn't work, and I wasn't sure why. Whatever.
Uh,
Yeah,
try the key real quick that I posted in the Discord.
yeah. I shouldn't look at it now though, but I'll look at it
I'll move
briefly.
my screen away if you just do it real quick.
Okay. You sent it in KCC, yeah?
Yeah. I was also thinking we can use the same Mongo URI so that we can basically like talk on the same chat and just have our own server
Yeah.
instance running. So we're basically like talking over the internet.
Yeah, mine's live, by the way.
Yours is live.
You can say, yeah, mine's
Your Mongo's
live.
live.
Is it bear? Yeah, my Mongo's live. Is it bear colon, or how does the authorization?
It's
Is it just
just
bear space and then the string?
it's just a string.
Okay, we'll try it. We'll see what
It
says.
should be like GS7 underscore and blah blah blah.
So
If I remember.
authorization and then it's bearer space that. That's what I have in here. So I hope it works.
Oh, you're talking about in the LLM response. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
authorization and then special
I'm off
quote.
that screen, by the way. So you can come back if you want.
Okay.
Uh, dot backend.
Still in the
Equals.
background behind your freaking.
What's up?
I said it's still in the background behind your terminal. whatever.
Is it really?
It's just I can just make a new account.
There you go. Sorry about that. That's funny. All right, so hopefully the server's on now. Dude, this is cancer. Oh, this is an issue with the monk with the database. It failed to connect to it,
Your URI is wrong now.
but I didn't touch it. It's the same as it was. Let me here. I think I can do this. Quit it. Oh, you know why? It's because I'm doing it from a different. I try to be weird and do it from a different starting place. That's why. I have to go into backend because it's a non-relative path. I think this is why. It was looking for it inside of the root directory, but it's not there. That's my guess. Server, Mongo connected. Exactly. So when I tried it before, it's because I tried it
Yeah,
from
yeah.
one layer where it's supposed to be.
I do that sometimes.
That's okay. All right. Server's running.
Ashnahiha,
No, it shouted again.
Ashnahiha. Fuck it.
Boom. So see, it says ghost. That was there last time I was here. And I said ghost, but now it shows before Sailor Moon. So I don't know why it does that.
Yeah, I'll
I
look
know
into it
why.
after this call. We need to keep
I
moving
know
forward.
exactly why. I put the date in a Sailor Moon as tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it.
That's always gonna be the most recent one.
Yeah.
Okay. Holy. So it sends. We still get a ghost, which is annoying because I fixed that issue.
Did you
All
get
right.
the
No server error.
no server error?
Let's see. No server error.
And then it didn't. Did you?
But I also didn't get a I didn't
It
get a
sh
response either.
Yeah, if the LLM response is running, unless you deleted the console log, it should be printing the response in the server console.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'll look in LLM APIs there right now. The key.
I'll look at it later. But for now, let's move forward just to finish up this
Look at the
meeting.
pull request.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get to these pull requests.
All right. Let's go to yours. Here's the LLM group chat. Here's the main. Here's the main. Let's go to. Actually, should we go to yours or mine?
That's what I'm confused about. Like,
We
we
can go
have
to
two
yours.
repositories, but I'm just like,
Yours is the lead. Yours is the main. I do work on mine, and then I say, "Hey, you want to pull this one in?" And then you can say, "Yeah, sure," and add it, or you can say, "No, thanks." And I can always pull from yours, no matter when I want. Always.
so like right now to make mine as modern as possible. If we did it in order, we would pull in connected front and back end, then pull in, or sorry, we would pull in server database, then pull in LLM response. But server database is branched off of LLM response, or LLM response is branched off of server database. So LLM response is basically everything that's in server database plus more. So really, the only one I would need to pull in is LLM response feature to make it
Yeah, and
as modern on
honestly,
my
I
side.
I believe I already have that pulled in to front and back end. I'll see if I do for sure, but I'm pretty sure I have that here. And if I do, then you just need this one. Um, we'll see.
And then would I just
But
close
I have
out the other two pull requests?
LM response right here. I
Yeah.
already have that here. Yeah.
Okay, so on my ends right now, if I go on GitHub, I would go to, I would close out my two pull requests because they're outdated. Then I'd go to connected front and back ends, and then I would just
Look it
do,
over, right, and then you can, yeah,
and then I
review
just do merge
changes.
pull request.
Yeah, I want to see if I can get this to load the commits just so we can see the story that was said. Added it, added the tailwind. This is a bunch of my stuff here. Split the chat room into smaller components. You added LM response functionality, added the grok key, merged in data. See, I merged in server database into my end. That's into my dev right there. Added the proxies, added the post and get, usernames, username IDs. I added an LLM response into my branch. Remove node modules. I forgot to remove those, so there's like 4,000 files in there. made sure I double added it to node modules.
All of my
So now there's no more
comments
errors.
for the server implementation are not there.
Right here. Right.
That's for the LLM response, but not for the server or DB.
It looks like I merged it. Let's see.
Like if you go
Merged it
to
into the.
my pull request
Yeah.
and then and then look at the one that's server DB, there's like a lot more stuff in there that I'm not seeing in there.
Yeah. Base files, DB model, server setup, these things.
Yeah,
Maybe it's because I already
you
pulled from
started
yours to
from
start.
AI response.
I started from LLM response.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happened.
I definitely pulled in server database first. I pulled in I think LLM response was like today. It was like just earlier. But yeah, so my guess is that um front and back end is the one you're gonna want to PR. You don't
Okay.
really, I don't think, need to PR on yours if you don't want to. It's good for just visibility, but you can always just do it yourself because it's your repo, you know?
Yeah, or I could just go over to yours and copy it into a different repository.
Hmm?
If I wanted to get all of the changes of your front end, I could either take this connected front and back end and pull it into my main, or I could go to your remote repository and just pull your remote repository and keep my repository unaltered.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but the pulling in your connected front and back end seems like what I would want to do.
Yeah, right. Yep. And so ideally we can be working in parallel on different features. In this one, you can see some of my commits. I changed some of your files as well, but I pulled them onto my machine. I'm working on them on mine, and that's why right now you have the choice to accept this or not. You can actually go in and you can add comments and you can say, I do like this, I don't like this, I won't accept this part, you
Okay.
know?
Yeah. I'm gonna pull it in after this, and then I'm gonna let me see the types of sending.
Yeah, definitely review it over, make sure it's what you want, because if I don't, this is a good way to make sure that I don't edit stuff you don't want edited, and you don't edit stuff I don't want edited. Both
Yeah.
of our repos are separate from each other, both safe, you know?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So we basically
Yeah.
have,
Do you have
as
any?
of now, we have the front end component built, we have the back end component built, we have them connected somewhat, but not fully functionally. There's still issues. Um, LLM response isn't
We
getting
haven't.
sent through.
LM response isn't sending through. We haven't tried multiple users. It's always been just one,
I
and
too.
so we need to have it
The username
where
field
both
needs to
of
be
us.
added like ASAP, so we could have multiple people talking easily.
Yeah, and we need to make it so we can both run the backends on our own computers, I guess. Or are we gonna have one backend we both attach to?
We will have
Because for
the
for
simplest thing to
testing, it's
do would
fine.
be we each run our own node servers, but we share one Mongo URI. That way, any changes from the server is updating the same database. So it's basically like having one server and one database, but instead of we have two different servers changing the database. That way, we can just have them each running on our local machine.
Cool.
So
And then we can.
do you want to share your Mongo URI to me, or should I share mine to you?
I think I can share the URI with you, and I think there's one that's non-private, right? That it can be revoked. I think that's how that works. I'll look
You
it up.
basically, when you create a new project, you're gonna have to add me in network access in the bottom left in security. You have to like customly add my IP address. So I think
Oh,
it might be better to just find where it lets you invite me by email, and then I can get access to the project and do it all myself,
okay.
which might be in
Yeah.
database access. I think you just type in taborgrid@gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah, I'll figure out how to add you.
But you should do that
Oh, and
right
my
now because
project
I want to make sure this is figured out. Oh yeah, perfect.
taborgray@gmail.
Yep. What the?
Did I do it wrong?
Oh, it should be right. Let me go double check. Dude, I like how during this whole meeting I'm just like quietly responsible right now for millions of dollars of server computers. Just we're just over here just talking about program. Yeah, it should be taborgood@gmail.com. Let me, if that doesn't work, I'll try inviting your email to see if it gives me the same error.
Do you think it's cool or lame? This is not related at all, but do you think it's cool or lame that I showed you all this stuff and didn't touch my mouse? Is that cool or not cool? You better say cool.
It was like, if you want my honest opinion,
Yeah.
I would have never considered it, so it would have never even entered my mind your actions that you were doing.
Perfect. That's wonderful.
But
That's exactly what I
it's
wanted.
pretty cool. I'll say this much. I was like, why is it so janky when he moves around?
So funny.
But yeah,
Like
so you're just tabbing around. No, you're using your mouse right now, or you're using keys to do that.
all keys
Yeah, that's crazy.
like this.
That's like
Two
me using
stamps.
my mouse to click around on the keyboard on the screen.
Hey, found it.
Oh, nice.
Not project read only. Ah. Okay, now I'm gonna use my mouse. This is annoying. I'll let you be the. Can I give you the owner or no?
I would not do that. It might throw everything off. I would do access read write.
I
And
think
then
also admin, yeah.
yeah, those should be good.
Okay,
Project
seems fine.
database access admin, maybe the bottom one too, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll use your NV. So now when we're talking on our front ends, we'll be seeing each other's messages. I'll use chat room ID 1, but I might change it just to like test out different chat
Oh,
rooms.
add an optional description to your user.
You don't need to do
LLM
that,
GC compatriots.
but I think that I might need a password. If I need a password, you can just make it Tabor with capital T 123.
Read and write to any database. Enable to specify the resources this user can access. No. Okay, that's fine.
Have you? Is this
Yeah.
your first time using Mongo online?
Yeah, first time Atlas.
It's pretty nice. I think I need a password, and you can make it capital T, Tabor, and then 123.
Oh, here? Like that?
No, no. Yeah, yeah,
That's what you want your password to be?
yeah. It's just to use on the URI to get access.
Everyone pay attention. No, I'll hide it. Auto generate secure password and send it to you. Yeah?
No, don't do that, cause okay, whatever. But I don't
Then send it to
care.
you.
Yeah, that's fine. I
I don't
just
even
know
know
in
what
like
this is.
3 months I'm gonna forget. I'll be like, where did that password go?
Here you go.
What did you just
I
pay?
just I forgot it. So screen sharing. That's
Dude,
so funny.
never be a streamer. No, I'm just playing.
Never password. New password. Wait, does it do a new one each time? Okay, it does. New password. Copy. All right. I got it. It's here. Add
Okay,
user.
okay. So I'll get that pulled in. Um,
Let me stop screen sharing really quick.
so for next like week or two, I'm guessing that both of us will just be messing around with the front end and back end. Um, I might, since we have our components built now, we're kind of free to like the main structures there. So I think we can both work on each other's components. Like they're not really ours anymore. It's just one big thing now. So I might go into your chat room and add in. I had an idea last night. Let me read it to you.
Yeah, and if you can, I think I. Oh, do I have to give you? I think I might give you access.
My chat room
So I want
front
to give you
end.
access to the. I want to give you access to this project, LLMGC. So then you can let me see. Manage access. There we go. Tabor, great. Because I want you to be able to add items as well.
Oh yeah.
So you can add, if you see something you want fixed or something you like, you can also add issues in. I just added you
Okay.
to the project because then you can also be filling in the Kanban board of things you want done.
Yeah, like as of now, I was kind of confused about like the issues. I thought we were just doing all the issues on my repo, so it's not like all in one spot. If that's what you're referring to right now.
Yeah, aren't all the issues on yours?
Yeah, yeah. So do you want to just keep it like that, so that way we don't have like to go back and forth between repositories?
Yeah, so I have the project. It's a Turkish Films project, but everything it references is all your thing. I just happen to have a fork.
So a fork is it's based off the original like 100%.
Yeah, I just copy yours, and then I can do whatever I want. I can pull from yours, um,
Uh,
but it's its own thing. So yours is the OG. The only
so
way this
like
gets
if I
happening,
push something to mine, it will push to your fork automatically.
it will not push to my fork automatically unless I tell it to. Yeah, I can choose to pull and have one that's like always looking at yours and pulling it automatically, but I can also just leave mine just to like rot and let it be at version 2 while you're in version 8.
Bro, I'm like 90%. I like 90% understand Git, and it's that last 10% that's really screwing me over. But like I can tell that I'm like on the event horizon of figuring it out.
Yeah, fork just means I copy it at that moment in time, and that's what it's like. And then it automatically has a
But isn't that
remote
just what a
pull.
branch? I thought that's just what a branch is.
A branch is inside of a repo. This is a different repo.
So you're
It's a
just
different
made
repo stream to yours.
okay. So you basically would just pull from mine, but then it would only be local on your computer. But you want to be able to have a repository online, so that's why you forked it.
Yeah, I wanted to copy your work, be able to be able to PR to yours. I can't pull requests to yours unless I have the same history as yours. You know, like if I have some other random repository
Can you just
and
keep pulling my from my repository and like updating that, and then just pull from that? Because that's what I've been
yeah,
doing in the past, which is why I never use pull request and like separate repo and forks.
yeah, I pull from yours often, not often, but I pulled from yours like 3 times, and then I can only add to yours with a pull request. So I have to say, hey,
So
please pull my work.
a pull and a pull request are two different things.
Correct.
That's okay. That's
A
where I've
pull
been getting confused. Why it's like the same exact term, pull and pull request. It seems like it would be the same thing.
they are. It's asking you to pull. So it's like if let's say instead of it being Tabor's file, it's Microsoft's or it's Facebook's React. React is on here. React is on Git. The source code. I can make a change to React by forking it, making a change, and then say, "Hey Facebook, please pull my change into React." And they can say yes or no. That's the whole point. It's a request for it. If we had the same repo, you and I together, I could push, I could pull, I could do whatever and break everything of yours. And you might not like that. So this is like
Okay.
a request. It's between you and me, so you get to decide if you want it or not.
Okay. So it's like setting up a gate between our two different repos.
Exactly. The fork I can always pull down, but I can't just push up to yours. And you
Okay.
can't push to mine. It's my repo. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good way to keep us separate while still being able to work, hopefully somewhat in sync. Um, yeah, also pull requests give you an option to explain what you're doing in a big description that's not just commits, right?
All right. Yeah, it's making a little bit more sense now. It's at about a 90.5%.
Good.
But to get back to what I was saying right before that, I had some front end ideas that I might implement, and I'll just let you know real quick. I was thinking instead of the front end just instantly ending up on the chat page, which is very limiting because then it's hard to choose your username and you can't have like different chat rooms that easily. Like you could, but it would just basically be really flat feeling because you just have a username box in the corner and an ID box in the corner that you change.
An entry page and then the chat page, right?
Three pages. First page is the username entry page, and all it is you just type in the username, and then you go next to the next page, which is a chat log or a chat page, and there's you can have multiple chat rooms. So like right now it would just be one chat room with the ID one, but you could have a plus button and you click plus and it creates chat room two. So the first page selects the username for the React state. Second page allows you to create a new chat room or join a chat room that already exists. And then the third
And
page
it's not
takes
really
all that
making a new,
data and it puts it into what you already have.
not really making a new chat room though. It's just changing the chat room ID to 2, right? And the server will automatically grab from chat room 2.
Yeah, but on the front end, it would be nice to like have like a list of all the chat rooms that exist. Like it'd be like chat room one, and then you'd have
Yeah,
chat room two.
you have to add a thing from the server so the server says what are the all the IDs from the chat history in the database that have or all the chat room IDs that are available or used, right?
Um.
Because the
Oh,
servers
you're
depending
right.
on
You're
what
right.
rooms exist.
You're
Yeah.
right. But like, I
This new
guess.
functionality added.
Oh, yeah. Then
And
we'd
you
have
can
to have a
totally
new
change
database entry that would link all the different chat rooms to chat IDs,
you
which
can
would.
because you have to sort through every message otherwise, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. So maybe just
It's a
have
bit
that. Maybe just screw the adding different chat rooms like that, and just instead have the ID thing where you just type in the ID
yeah,
you want to go to. But I still like the idea of having the username landing page.
sure. Yeah, I'll actually write that right now. Username landing page.
And then the other thing is, so send in. It's right now we have it sending in the ID, or I mean the username. The what are the three things we send to the post request?
The post request gets 4 things. It gets the timestamp, the username, the message, and the chat room ID.
Okay, so yeah, the ID, username, the timestamp, and I was thinking of adding a fifth thing, which is basically the personality for the LLM response, and
But,
that's what plugs into the LLM to basically tell it how it responds.
but now you're saying every message gets a different personality.
It could possibly, or you could have the personality just linked to the chat room on the front end. It
Okay.
sounds very complex the way I'm saying it, but I promise you it's super simple. I'm not explaining it very well.
So how does the user decide? Because on the front end, I'm trying to figure out how does the use like I guess you'll put it in some to dos right in the project of what you're looking for.
How would the
Let's say
user decide like what personality to send?
you want there to be an input box that also you're basically sending chats and you have a prompt at the same time, and everyone has prompts and everyone has chats at the same time.
No, there's one personality prompt box on the chat page, and that
Yeah.
defines the personality that's being sent for every post. And if you could send like 100 messages like mediate the conversation, but then if you wanted to change it for the next message, you would just change that chat or the field, save it, and then all new messages after that would get the new personality.
So it's like we all have our own prompt box and we all have a text box. And when the LLM is responding, ostensibly after each message you send, everyone gets to see the AI's response to you that has the entire chat history as context and the mystery prompt that you gave it.
I
Right?
see what you're saying because every person from their front end could have a different prompt, unless that prompt is being
Yeah.
received from the back end to like connect them all. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but
that
let's
is
say
an
every
issue.
person is a different let's say every person is a different prompt and each person sends in a message. There's going to be 5 AI replies, all of which have successively larger context and are all responding to different prompts, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is I'm gonna have to think about this because I can tell right now my brain does not want to think deep very much longer.
No worries. To have to be collaborative, I think it's good if there's a common goal, as in like one goal. And so maybe we stick to like each chat room gets its own goal and prompt, and like one chat room, one prompt, and then we can update that later. Because right now we don't even have the LLMs. The LLM response isn't even working yet. I gotta fix that.
Okay, so for now, do you just want to for like the next week? Should we just both focus on getting the username field added in so we can change it, and then getting the LLM to respond properly, and then getting it so that we can both
Yeah, right.
use our Mongo DBs and talk to each other from our own computers.
Yeah, I have right now that it's the 3 items I have are dump of Discord, add username change field, username landing page. I'm gonna add get LLM actually working, and have DB online so we can connect.
Alright, cool.
If you want to add anything else, the project is there. Um, I'll put that in the Discord as well, so you can get to it quickly. So you can
Alright.
add any. This is even just for ideas you have.
Yeah, I was
If you just
gonna
have an
start adding my
idea,
own issues. I just didn't get a chance to yet.
yeah,
But
no worries.
I'll
Yeah, for
start
sure.
using the
And like
GitHub issues to like communicate all this stuff because I have like 4 different spots I've been going to.
yeah, and it's a really good place because then if I want to solve one of your problems, I can just move it. If you want to solve one, you can just move it. Just switch to a different branch before you like work on it, so that it's clear what's happening when. Otherwise, you end up solving like 5 issues, and you're like, how do I tag it? Pretty much every issue gets its own branch, and then you just merge it back in the main, and then and I'll PR. You can just do whatever you want.
Okay.
We did progress, dude. We
Yeah,
did
we
progress.
made it all the way to. We're basically by the end of this week, if we get all this done, we'll have step 5 done, which means our components are combined and our system is fully functional, and we're just basically testing it and optimizing it.
Yup.
Oh yeah.
Pretty great. It's funny. The MongoDB that I have now with Atlas actually runs on AWS, which is pretty funny.
Oh really? Which are you using, Virginia or
Yeah,
Oregon?
I'm using Oregon.
Nice.
Oregon, baby.
Bro,
Yeah,
I'm
I want to
walking in
switch to like
circles.
this.
Wait.
This should be pretty straightforward to switch over instead of using Atlas, just using our own. Like
Oh
I can
yeah,
just
it's
make
easy.
one of these and use it.
I already have a Mongo's DB on my server, just port forwarded, running live. I was like, I was about to
Mhm.
switch tree efficiency over to it, but then I didn't want to migrate all the data, so that's why I never did. But yeah, it's really easy. You
Got
just
you.
install Mongo Atlas, and it's like the same exact setup as
Hmm.
the online app, and then you just get your Mongo URI right there from the Atlas app, and then just copy it in. But I need to go
Yep.
because the last 5 minutes, bro, I've been walking in circles, grabbing my crotch because I have to pee so bad.
Okay. See ya.
But thanks for talking with me, and I'm really proud of the progress you made.
Yeah, for sure. Good work.
I'll
Bye.
put this call on the YouTube, okay?
Okay, if you want to. With all the API keys, terrible.
It's whatever, bro. It's all test stuff, prototype, nothing that matters.
Sure. All right. See ya.
Talk to you.